All right, hey, hopefully at this point you have watched the video about rhyme patterns, you've done the work, and now you're just coming in to do this as a continuation, which is excellent. I want to keep this short, but I'm not going to, unfortunately, because I kind of got excited about planning this a little bit. It's just a little bit more fun, and there's a silly video in it. But we talked about rhyme, and we talked about sound devices, right? How to use sound in our poetry to kind of make it more interesting and more effective. And so what we're talking about today is rhythm. Rhythm, mood, and then music. Poetry's connection to music a little bit more. And we'll do this throughout, but I really think it's such a good way to think about poetry. It's not just something you read, but it's just like it is music. It's musical, at least, let's say that. So rhythm, it's a flow of the beat in a poem, right? It gives it a musical feel. So when you read a poem, so like I remember we had this thing called Declamation Day. It's where we'd have to say a poem, and it was actually from grade up until grade 6. No, up until grade 8. So from grade 3 until grade 8, we would join into like a competition as a school, and I still remember the poem's called The Cremation of Sam McGee, but it starts like, there are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold. Just the way you talk. It's not the same as how everyone talks. It has that kind of sing-songy, almost musical feel. That's the rhythm, right? It can be fast, it can be slow, and really it depends on kind of the mood or the subject matter. If you're talking about something happy, of course you're going to be upbeat. I really love school, said the girl, right? Upbeat. But if it's a little bit sadder or reflective, you're going to talk a little bit slower, and the rhythm's going to be a lot slower. Just like in music. If it's a happy song, it makes you want to dance, right? If it's a sad song, what's the tempo? What's the beat? So usually a little bit slower, okay? So you can count the measure in rhythm, and that's counting the beats in each line. We did that with limericks. Remember, there were 3 beats in the first 2 lines of the limerick, right? It's do, 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 do. That is our beat. Just plug it in my laptop. And so often, right, the rhythm is determined in poetry by how many syllables are there, what is the beat count, and what words do we emphasize. Here's the first example. Here's the first example of rhythm. All right. So I'm just going to read it out, and I want you to think about. Well, it already tells you that at the answer, but it's called the pickety fence. The pickety fence. The pickety fence. Give it a lick, it's the pickety fence. Give it a lick, it's a clickety fence. Give it a lick, it's a lickety fence. Give it a lick, give it a lick, give it a lick, with a rickety stick. Pickety, 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 pick. Just the way in the words and the syllable count and the beat, the pickety fence, 1, 2, right? It's a quick poem that is said fast, that's said quickly, okay? And so when I was planning this, and I was looking at this, and I want you to understand that some poems just have a faster rhythm to it than the other, I think the best thing to show you is this video that I found, all right? And so this video is, if you know who Dr. Seuss is, he writes poetry. He wrote like stories like The Grinch and The Lorax. So a lot of people have noticed that Dr. Seuss writes an awful lot like some rappers nowadays. And so people have this now thing where they read the Dr. Seuss song kind of like Dr. Seuss story kind of like it's a rap song. And what this video is supposed to show you is that, and if the link's in the video if the sound doesn't work, so you can watch it later. But if what it's supposed to show you is that poems have a natural rhythm to it. And now all this person is doing is adding a beat to the background. There's a difference in how this poem is written, and it already has a rhythm to it. Anyways, let's give it a look. I'll listen to it.
Yeah. Dr. Seuss. Hey. Here we go. Walk it, see it. Pocket. There's a walk it in my pocket. Walk it in my pocket. Huh? Walk it in my pocket. Okay. Walk it in my pocket. There's a walk it in my pocket. Walk it in my pocket. Walk it in my pocket. Seuss. In my pocket. There's a walk it in my pocket. Did you ever have a feeling? There's a basket in your basket, or a neural in your bureau, or was it in your closet. Sometimes I feel quite certain there's a jerking in the curtain. Sometimes I have a feeling there's a Zap behind the clock. And that Zap up on the shelf, I have talked to him myself. I said that Zap up on the shelf, I have talked to him myself. That's the kind of house I live in. There's a ink up in the sink and that Zap up in the lamp. And they're nice, I really think. Mama, some of them are friendly like that yacht up in the pot. But that yacht in the bottle, some are friendly, some are not. Mama. Like that Sable on the table and that gear under the chair. But that Bofo on the sofa, well, I wish he wasn't there. And those numbers in the cupboards, yeah, they're fun to have about. But that new brush on my toothbrush, see him, I could do without. And that one I'm really scared of is the bug under the rug. Said the one I'm really scared of is the bug under the rug. And that Quinley in the chimney, I don't like him at all. And it makes me kinda nervous when the Czar goes down the hall. And the yips up on the steps, they are great to have around. There are many other friends that I have found. Like the Teller and the Neller, and the Geller and the Deller, and the Beller and the Weller, and the Zeller and the Seller, and that Gilly on the silly, and that Sour in my shower, and that Pillow on my Zillow. I can talk to him for hours. I don't care if you believe it. That's the kind of house I live in. And I hope I never leave it. You can't come. You're forbidden. I don't care.
Okay, so you get the point though, right? Is that idea that Dr. Seuss wrote this as children rhymes, focusing on silly words to make a rhyme scheme, just like how we've kind of done already. But then someone noticed that the rhyming has a rhythm, and the rhythm is a quick rhythm. It's a fast rhythm. And so now looking at this song, at this poem that's on our screen, right? You can almost imagine it being the next, well, maybe it's not that good, but a top 40, right? If you put a beat in the background, right, you can start to think about how it does have a faster rhythm to it naturally. We can actually hear the rhythm, right? Gotta wait for the drop. Right? And so this is the beat that I'm talking about. The pickety fence. The pickety fence. Give it a lick, it's a pickety fence. Give it a lick, it's a clickety fence. Give it a lick, it's a clickety fence. So again, just the way that the song it already has a natural rhythm to it. And so to match the speed, it kind of matches the speed, it says, of a striking fence. So if you ever have a stick and you're like ringing along the fence, it goes, and so the rhythm of the poem naturally has it. And if we put music in the background, I find it's easier to actually see and identify the rhythm. This next poem is slightly different. All right, so this next poem is called "Where Are You Now?" And so I'm just going to read it out naturally. When the night begins to fall and the sky begins to glow, you look up and see the tall city of lights begin to grow. In rows and little golden squares, the lights come out, first here, then there. Behind the window panes, as though a million billion bees had built their golden hives and honeycombs above you in the air. The rhythm of this poem is just a little bit slower, right? It's to match kind of the night and walking through it, and it's just not as quick or fast. And so again, to kind of visualize what I mean by the beat there, right? We think of this, when we think about these kind of lyrics even, and we look at them and identify them, we should think of, right, a more slower kind of, this could be the next Harry Styles type song, right? When the night begins to fall and the sky begins to glow, you look up and see the tall city lights begin to grow. Anyways, the point of this all is the idea of rhythm, right? And how poems have a natural rhythm, and you can actually change that rhythm. Oh, I'm not on my slide right now. You can change that rhythm in the flow based on the meter, based on the count of the beats. So the song that we listen to, this one, right? It's a do 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 do. The piano verse that was just in the background there is more a do 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 do. I know I sound crazy, but it is in songs and in poetry there is an implied beat. So when we're reading them out loud, we should think about what is the song in my head, the beat in my head that this is playing to. And what it does is it changes the mood of our song. Mood is the atmosphere. So sometimes you might, let's say you go to a friend's house and their mom just got mad at the friend. I know this happened to me a lot, and you kind of sit there awkwardly because you know there's like a weird atmosphere. There's a weird tension in the air, right? Or you just pulled a prank on someone, or actually it's your birthday, right? And so you're with your friends and you're celebrating your birthday and you're having a lot of fun. There's a happy atmosphere. Maybe something sad happened to you, and the atmosphere is different. Songs and poetry creates the same kind of mood, right? It puts you in a mood. And so what happens is the beat can determine, the rhythm can also determine the mood. There's a lot of, I was going to link more videos up here to talk about mood. We don't have enough time, but if you have time, you can Google dramatic readings of like rap songs. There's one about Drake's One Dance where a bunch of actors read it dramatically. So instead of with the beat and the song about one dance, they're like very serious. And I said, I need a one dance. Got that? Right? And so what happens is it changes the entire mood. It goes from being this kind of uppity, like this dance song, to something very serious and somber and almost sad and dark, right? So the beat determines the mood. It can be happy, it can be angry, it can be silly. It's all about how you communicate the meaning behind it, right? That's the sound device. So the sound devices we've talked about, right? Rhythm, rhyme, repetition, alliteration, automatopoeia. All the best songs and all the best poetry have it, right? Songs have it. For example, songs often have rhythm for sure. We talked about that, but they all utilize rhyme if they're lyrical, right? Lyrics will have a combination of rhyme in order to create a rhythm, right? So in the rhyme itself, the words are creating rhythm. So they'll use so think about beatboxing, for example, in the songs. They'll use a lot of first let's go beatboxing, right? The basic beatbox is when you say boots and cats, right? So what beat, right, is you got that drum, boots, and then cats is that kind of the snare, cats. So then you say faster, boots and cats and boots and cats and boots, cats, boots, right? So that's with beatboxing. In writing songs, you can also have that rhythm in your rhymes by having words like cat in it. It produces a sound that can be aesthetically pleasing. The Beastie Boys were a band that were known for this, right? The words they chose in their song created that kind of rhyme. And so what happened? So what we have in songs is we have three types of rhyme. We have internal rhyme that's in the line itself. We see rhyming. So there is fun to be done. That's one line, but there's a rhyme in it. There is glue in my shoe. There's a walk it in my pocket. Okay, that's from the Dr. Seuss thing. We said, walk it like I talk it, the Migos song. They have an internal rhyme inside the line, right? So there's rhyming in the line. Or what we're used to a lot is the end rhyme. At the end of the sentence, at the end of the line, it will rhyme with the next one. Okay, so making poetry is easy, but sometimes it makes me queasy. And then identical rhyme, there's a joke. There's this artist called Pitbull. He rhymed the word Kodak with Kodak in the same song, but that's also an identical rhyme. Here on this picture, we have a whole bunch of different rhyme schemes. We've talked about some of them, but it just shows you how you can kind of edit and alter and use words to create meaning, but to create rhyme, to create rhythm. And that's what songs do the best. I think one of the person who does it the best, this is an excerpt from Eminem, from Lose Yourself. All right? All the colors are color coordinated. So if it's yellow, that means it rhymes together. If it's green, those words rhyme together as well. Okay? At least in the line. Okay? So let's read the first one. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, knees and weak. Now you might not say how does that rhyme. Then what happens is he changes the way the word sounds so that he emphasizes certain parts of it that rhymes. But anyway, palms and arms in the same line. So he has rhyme, he has rhythm because we know he'll have some beat, and he'll have alliterations, probably not so much. But look at this, he has the word blow, right? So the clock runs out, time's up, over, blow. He has an automatopoeia in it. So artists use these sound devices in music and in poetry to enhance it. And that's kind of what we're doing today. So at the end of this, I want you to find the song as instructed. You're going to find the song, and I want you to analyze it, find its rhyme pattern. Tell me about its rhythm. Is it fast? Is it slow? Now, if you're celebrating Ramadan and you can't listen to music, that's understandable. Pick a song you already know. You shouldn't actually have to listen to anything to complete this. Can you find any repetition of words, any alliterations, or any automatopoeias? We're just trying to see right now is how is rhythm used to enhance a project, to enhance a piece of writing? Because that's really what songs are. Okay? Good luck and get going. Oh, this is awkward. Stop.